Welcome back to That Dad Guy. It's August 28th, 2025, and it is another beautiful sunny day outside. It feels like California. Every day is a beautiful sunny day. It never seems to be raining, and the temperatures are always in around 26 or 28 degrees. We've had one of those kind of summers. Well, today we are talking stamps once again. So on Thursday, normally we're looking at my father's stamp collection on Thursday, but last week I started by showing you the citation stamp album that I found at the Sussex Flea Market that I purchased for $25 Canadian. I went through A to G last week, and so we're going to break this book into three parts. I'm going to slow it down a little bit. Last week I went through a little bit quicker for some people, so we're going to slow it down a little bit, and we'll do another third of the book, and then I'll leave the last third till the next time. But before I get into that, and after you guys like, subscribe, leave positive comments, and share with other people, those are all things you can do at the beginning or at the end of this video, whichever you prefer. We're going to get into the new stamp release from Canada Post. I mentioned it a couple days ago. The Canada Post was coming out with a new stamp. Well, yesterday that stamp came out. So today when I was in the post office, I picked it up. I picked up a couple of them. And so we have these nice booklets talking about fungi, or mushrooms, if you will. And we can open it up to show you the inside with all that. We'll get a little closer and I'll read what's on the back. You see the stamps? It says, growing awareness of the importance of biodiversity and traditional indigenous knowledge has renewed our fascination with fungi, or lichens. While the world's fungal diversity is vast, only a small percentage of fungal species has been cataloged. The 5 species presented in this stamp issue are all found in Canada: the star-tipped reindeer lichen, the oyster mushroom, chicken of the woods, tinder fungus, and Rhizophagus irregularis, or a microscopic even say it, but AMF. That's what it transfers into. So these are all those different fungus. And the really cool thing about these stamps, once again, is it from Jocelyn Saunier Designs in Riverview, New Brunswick. So she has done the 2 toad species, or frog stamps, I guess. Those rare species, she did those stamps. She did the Christmas stamps, or the winter stamps. There was 3, of course, the US denomination, the international denomination, and the domestic rate stamps. And she also did the Sarah McLachlan stamp, so she's on a real roll. So we're super proud to have a New Brunswicker contributing to the postal history with stamps. So well done, Jocelyn, once again. Thank you for the time and effort it takes to produce these stamps and to get them just right so they look fantastic on all the mail that we're sending out. And we are sending out mail, right? We're writing letters and sending postcards, perhaps buying packages, all to keep Canada Post afloat and everyone else. So thank you for that. Okay, let's get into the rest of what we're going to do, and that's going through the citation stamp album. Last week we got as far as finishing the countries in that book that began with G. So we're going to start with the ones that start with H. One of the things I kind of skipped over a little bit last time when I was going through quick, I didn't really focus a lot on what it talked about in the countries. There are some really good information about countries that no longer exist or that have changed their flags. There's nothing on this page. There is a stamp there. So as we look at Haiti, and of course some Olympic stamps, and shaped stamps, in the country of Haiti. I was very lucky enough to go to Haiti back in the early 90s when it was going through some political turmoil, which I guess it always seems to be going through a little bit of it. But some fascinating and wonderful people that live there. Nothing on these 2 pages. That's a rarity in this book that there isn't a stamp on a page. So there's some old Haitian stamps there. And then Honduras. It's almost like This one's a really nice stamp. There's something, a page missing or something, because it didn't have that really nice information about Honduras on the first page. British Honduras, as we know, is Brazil, or not Brazil, Belize. And then we've got some for Hong Kong. You definitely could see this is while Hong Kong was still under British rule at the time here. And then Hungary. Overprints. You see a lot of overprints when it's during the world wars, where either inflation of a country is going crazy, or maybe they're occupied by another country at the time. So that's one of the reasons that you're going to see some overprints on some. And I often get the question, especially when it comes to German stamps, is it right to collect Hitler stamps? And it's part of history. I don't think we should forget it. We definitely don't support it, but don't forget what's happened then. So I have no problem in collecting and making sure that the stamps during the First World War, the Second World War are still represented in the collection, because it happened. We can't forget that it happened. We shouldn't forget that it happened. So those stamps are a reminder of that piece of history. Just like stamps of Russia that have Stalin on it, or Mussolini, or we can go through many countries that have had dictators and people that have caused harm to their own people and neighboring countries. So yeah, when we collect, if you're a purist and you want everything from a country, you're going to add those in as well. I have a new appreciation, especially when flowers, different themes that are out there, that people collect that. They don't necessarily collect a full country anymore. They're looking for things that interest them, and they collect just that. So whether it be sports or flowers or transportation, there's a little bit of everything out there you can collect. So I really appreciate the fact that some people collect just themes. Maybe postal themes. I'm the steward for my father's collection, and he collected the world, and he tried to collect everything from the world, which is an impossibility. I've continued that along. Not to the same degree that he has, because he's got it all in Scott order. Anything new that I've gotten, I've just been putting in country order, especially because there's so many generous viewers that have been sending me stamps. I just haven't had the time to sit down with a Scott catalog and try to go through and put everything in order and maybe add them to the pages my father already has. So I was talking about that with him yesterday. We got together and went for a drive, and we talked a bit about stamp collecting. And I told him about what I've been doing with new stamps that have been coming in compared to what he used to do. Sometimes those conversations are one-sided because he doesn't really remember stamp collecting too much anymore. The disadvantages of dementia, unfortunately. But we still talk about it. And I still show him albums from time to time, especially when he comes over to the house. Or if there's a particular stamp that I have received that I thought he might be interested in. He still likes stamps. He just doesn't remember collecting them. The more people I talk to, the more I find others who are going through the same experiences with their parents or grandparents. Quite a few stamps from Hungary in this album. These pages are fantastic, the way they've got them all laid out. You can see the images that are there. You can see exactly which ones are missing. See here, this stamp isn't missing, it's just fallen over here. I suspect when all said and done, I'll probably put this album just up on the shelf with the others. Can't see myself removing all the stamps from it and putting them elsewhere, because they're in such nice organization right now. What I'm hoping when you guys are watching this is maybe you're seeing stamps that aren't in your collection, that may be a country you collect or a theme you collect, and so you're getting exposure to stamps that maybe you're hoping to find now that you know they exist. I always think of that when I think of scouting stamps, and Christopher in the UK who collects scouting stamps. Maybe he sees them here and then he can add them to his wish list of things that he's looking for. Or Stephen in Australia who collects mushroom stamps. Or Mirja in Finland who collects ice skating. Who knows what you'll see in these albums. Poor one, the stamp's been cornered up. There we go. I have noticed there are a few Cinderella stamps. Not many, but a couple, I guess. This person had a very good collection of Hungary, that's for sure. A lot of them here. Postage due. Iceland. Just 2 stamps from Iceland. That one looks like the Trojan horse. And then we get to India. A couple early Indian stamps there. Apologize if it's shaky. I'm trying to slow down a little bit so you can see the stamps that are on each page. Indonesia. You can see the dates at the top of the pages too for where you will find these stamps. 1960 to 62, these stamps came out. These stamps are not very exciting. There's a whole slew of them to collect. A good chunk of them. That's an interesting one there. Iraq. nice stamps. Just missed that one. Ireland. Israel. Italy. So coming off the hinge a little bit. There's Mussolini and Hitler there. Nice Europa stamp there. Some Olympic stamps. Ivory Coast, Jamaica, Japan, pretty early stamp there. Boy. When it comes to Japanese stamps, the more current years is when they get super creative and they put out a lot of stamps. Beautiful stamps. Yugoslavia. Hedgehog. Kenya and Uganda. South Korea, North Korea, I guess there are two are combined here. Laos, Lebanon, Leeward Islands, just one for there. Liberia, Macau, a couple from Madagascar, Malaya, see the tiger one. It's very prominent. Lots of different versions of that. Malaysia. You can see here with all the different names underneath, different regions, and it continues on here. Mali, oh, not Mali 1, 2. Malta, it's a nice stamp. Martinique, Mauritania, Mexico, Middle Congo, Mongolia, Montserrat, Morocco, a lot of stamps from Mozambique, from Stephen in Montana. Nice zebra or zebra stamp there. Mozambique, some overprints. Nice maps on stamps. I think we're going to stop it right there. We'll carry on from N next time we do this on a future Thursday. And yeah, there's been a lot of stamps in there. If you've been watching since the very beginning, and I don't mean the beginning of this video, but the beginning of this album when we started last Thursday, you can see there's a lot of stamps in there. So for the purchase price of $25 Canadian, I think I did okay. Now, what am I going to do with it? It's probably just going to end up with the others up there. I can't see taking the stamps out of this because they're really beautifully presented on these pages, and I can't see myself adding to these particular pages with hinges. I've kind of more gone to Vario pages, so we'll have to do a little cross-referencing between my father's collection, what I've got on Vario pages, and what's in here, and then maybe remove some of the duplicates either from the Vario pages or from here. I'm not going to touch the ones that are in my father's collection because he's done such a good job at presenting them. All right, that's it for today. You'll have to wait till another time to see what else is in this book. Once again, beautifully well done stamps by Jocelyn. So thank you for your efforts you're doing with Canada Post creating stamps. And thanks everybody for tuning in and watching. We'll see everybody next time around. Have a magical week. What, Polo? You say like, subscribe, share, and tell all your friends?
Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy?
Bye. We've done this much already. We still have all that left to do. Am I going to get that done in one more video, or is it going to take two? We'll see.